Alright, so today it is Foundation Friday and it is snowing right now in Seattle randomly. I don't even know how I'm sitting inside right now. I'm so excited. So today I'm trying out a new foundation from the drugstore. This is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint Foundation. I also have the new Hydro Boost Hydrating Concealer here. Using both of these guys in today's video. I actually got the concealer for free because of extra bucks. Gotta love CVS. If you split up your transactions, you can use extra bucks from your first purchase on your second purchase. So I basically got this thing for free. So before we jump into talking about the foundation, I just have a couple things I want to share with you guys. The first, what was the first? Oh, lighting. I just want to say thank you to everyone who left feedback and just really thoughtful comments, honestly, on the last Foundation Friday video. I'm glad you guys are liking this lighting. I also really like this. I feel like you can actually see my skin and it's not too dark or light or whatever. So thank you for all the comments on that video. The second thing, which I'm super excited to share with you guys, my baby 1548, my liquid lipstick that I made with BQ Beauty, is coming back in stock. This is going to be the last restock. It's not going to be permanent. Since this is the only restock we're doing, there's a limited quantity available. So if you do want to purchase 1548 and you didn't get around to the first time, now is the chance to get your Now is the chance to get your hand on this guy. If you're new or you missed the launch of 1548, I'm going to leave the announcement video in the little eye over here and down below in the description box. It basically talks about what went into actually making this lipstick and just the meaning behind it and its importance and all of that. So thank you to everyone who purchased this and supported me the first time around. I love seeing you guys wearing 1548 on Twitter and Snapchat and everywhere. So very excited that this will be back in stock. I'm pre-filming this video a few days, so I don't know the exact date of relaunch right now. So I'm going to put it on the screen right here because I should know by Friday. So right here, this is when 1548 will be relaunching. So let's jump into the video. If you're new here, I do Foundation Friday every single Friday on my channel. It's a new first impression video. I will leave the playlist down below in the description box if you haven't seen any of them yet. So this foundation retails for $14.99 on Ulta. There is 1 fluid ounce of product in here, which is very standard for a liquid foundation. I have the shade Natural Ivory 20, which is actually not the lightest shade. The lightest shade is 10. When I was looking at these in CVS, the shade 10 looked pretty yellow, which is why I went for this shade, but you guys will see my thoughts on the shade as we're doing the demo and everything. This foundation comes in 10 shades. I do want to go pick up the shade 10 since right now I only have the shade 20, but I'm going to insert swatches here. So swatch time, right here is the Neutrogena foundation in the shade 20. I'm going to swatch this again for you right now, right here, because literally within about a minute, this has completely oxidized. This is bizarre, watch this. So here's the shade when you just apply it. Look at that difference, that is insane. It literally darkens a couple shades within a minute. You guys will see it develop as we talk about the other swatches. So next over is my current favorite Pure Cosmetics Baradol foundation in the lighter shade Porcelain. Here's Dermacol 208, and then here's the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation in the new lightest shade Porcelain. And then last is the Urban Decay Naked foundation in 0.5, and my battery is literally about to die. So as you can see, this is already majorly oxidized, this first shade over. So the packaging of this foundation reminds me exactly of the Clinique foundation. You have this huge applicator. It looks like a giant concealer wand, kind of like the Tarte Shape Tape wand. I kind of like the applicator on the Clinique one, so it doesn't really bother me. So let's jump into some of the claims here. It says Neutrogena's Hydration Infused Weightless Water Gel Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint plumps and boosts hydration while providing natural looking coverage. Moisturizes and plumps skin for 24 hours, doesn't settle into fine lines, boosts hydration for 24 hours for more radiant, smoother skin over time. Better for your skin than wearing no makeup at all. Make your skin better even after you take it off. So this is supposed to be kind of like a skincare product and foundation in one. Oil-free, non-comedogenic, non-greasy, blah, blah, blah. So that's pretty much all of the claims. This does have hyaluronic acid in it, which is really good for anti-aging. It doesn't say that the foundation is supposed to last on your skin for 24 hours. It just says it moisturizes and plumps the skin for 24 hours. So we'll see how long this wears throughout the day. I typically do 10-hour check-ins. I have combination skin with cystic acne. I get pretty oily throughout the day on my T-zone. I feel like I need to switch that line up a little bit. I say that exact same thing in every video. I've heard extremely positive and also extremely negative reviews on this product, so we'll see what I think of it. So that's all of the claims. If you want to see how the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint Foundation applies and wears throughout the day, you're in the right place. Just keep watching. Just started filming with my mic not even plugged in, so attempt number 2. It is 8:14 in the morning right now. I've already washed, moisturized, and primed my face, used my Jouer Anti-Blemish Matte Primer like usual. So because this one is supposed to be lighter coverage, I am going to try and spot conceal with the Hydro Boost concealer that I have here because I obviously have some acne spots and stuff to cover up right now. exciting news. Washed my foundation brushes. So I'm going to be going in with the Sigma F80 on one side of my face and then this NYX Flawless Finish sponge on the other side. The shade is actually looking a little bit different than it did in CVS now, so I'm hoping this is going to match. So what I do with my Clinique foundation, which is like this, is I just put it on the skin. Maybe not the most sanitary. If you really want to, you can put it on a palette and then dip your brush into the palette, but sue me. It feels really smooth going on, like the applicator feels really smooth. Going in with the brush. It feels almost like you're putting a moisturizer on. Yes, definitely very light coverage. It evened out some of my redness. It didn't cover any of the acne. I wasn't really expecting it to, but it did even out my skin tone. I am going to see if this is buildable, but let's go in on the forehead first. It feels like a super lightweight moisturizer. So let's see how it goes on with a sponge. I think we've got even lighter coverage with the sponge. This side is looking like sheer and this side is looking like light coverage, I would say. Personally, I like how it applied better with the brush. So let's go in for a second layer over here. I'm going to use a brush to do the second layer on both sides just to see if this is buildable. I think I actually should have gone with shade 10 just because this is looking, it's hard to tell on camera, but it is looking a bit more pink than my neck. It has more coverage than on the first layer now, but it's still at light coverage for sure. I do like the way it goes on. It feels a little bit cooling. Not emphasizing any texture or anything anywhere. My skin just looks kind of nice and smooth and plump. Very light coverage, freckles, I mean everything's coming through. It basically just evened out my skin tone. I'm going to blend this down my neck a little bit just because it is too pink tone. I think if you have a similar skin tone to mine, I would go with the 10 shade. Alright, so we're going to go with this concealer and hope that we can spot conceal a bit down here. It looks pretty dark in here for my skin tone, so hoping we can match this. Because it has unique hydrating core designed to instantly quench the skin, which is this little white core in here. Non-greasy, lightweight formula glides onto the skin, providing natural looking coverage. And this is in the shade Fair 10, the lightest shade. So swatching this on my hand, I don't know if you guys can see that, it looks pretty dark. Definitely darker than my face. Let's try. And to blend in my concealer under my eyes and to spot conceal, I always use the Morphe G38 brush. Blended in fine, I think. Looks like a medium coverage concealer to me. It's helping to tone down some of the redness, but you can definitely still see those spots coming through. I'm gonna put some on my acne scarring over here. It feels very lightweight blending out. Alright, so I actually don't mind the way my skin looks right now. I feel like my acne is covered enough, but it doesn't look like a ton of coverage. It still looks like skin and really natural. There you go. As you can see, you can still see some of my skin coming through. I feel like my forehead looks really nice and moisturized, and it really isn't clinging anywhere. I would say right now it's looking like a satin finish. A little bit dewy. So to conceal my under eyes like normal, I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, but I'm not going to put that anywhere else on my face. I don't think I'm going to set my face with the powder because sometimes with light coverage foundations, I feel like when I do that, it makes it look worse because then it just looks kind of dry without coverage. So we're calling the check-in time, 8:30. I'm going to do the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. All right, so it's now 9 o'clock. The rest of my makeup is clearly on. I have to say, I do really like the way my skin looks right now. It looks really healthy, super glowy. If you like more matte, you'll either have to set this with a matte powder or this one isn't for you because this one is very glowy, especially as it's kind of warmed up to my skin. Now I would say it's definitely dewy, which I don't mind as long as I'm not a grease ball by the end of the day. Like I said, I didn't powder this one, and blush, bronzer, highlight, and everything blended out totally fine on top. I used a cream highlight, which was kind of a mistake, but maybe it kind of works. Who knows? I do think it already has oxidized, and you guys can't see as much in here, but if you can see, here's my chest color, and my face is definitely a couple shades too dark. It's not showing up as much on camera, it looks like, but when I was just in the bathroom mirror putting on my lipstick, it definitely looked darker. To me, it looks like it's already oxidized since I put it on. So if I wore this again, I would definitely need to go pick up the shade 10, the lightest shade. So on the rest of my face, for eyes, I used the new Pixie It's Judy's Time palette. This is Judy's brand new eyeshadow palette, and I've only used the matte shades in here, but holy shitsies, they blended out beautifully, super buttery, pigmented. I've never tried any other Pixie eyeshadows, so I'm not sure if they're all like this, but I just went in with a few of the matte shades and they're super pretty. So I was watching one of my friend Holly's videos, Holly Eats Lipstick. If you haven't heard of her channel, I'll link it down below, but she also has pale skin. She has more dry skin and she has really beautiful skin. I'm so jealous. But in one of her videos, actually I think it was the review on this, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was. Her cheeks just looked beautiful, so I messaged her asking what she was wearing, and it was the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer topped off with the Too Faced Peach Blush. So that's what I have on my cheeks right now. I didn't really contour anything. I just kind of put that more on the apples of my cheeks, and it looks really nice and warm, but not too orangey. I don't like the butter bronzer as a bronzer for me. Like if I put it over here, it just looks too orange. And then my highlight, like I said, is a cream highlight. Typically I don't put creams on top of any kind of powder because on my skin it just looks totally weird. And since I did have my under eye powder on, it started getting a little weird texture, but I just blended it out with my finger and it looks beautiful. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion highlight. This is their new one. And then on my lips, which I probably already talked about in the intro, is my lipstick with Be Hue. This is 1548. I am way too excited to go in the snow right now, so I'm gonna check back in with you guys. Next check-in I do will be in natural lighting, so I'll see you guys in a few. Alright, so it's now 1:30, so the foundation's been on for 5 hours. I am liking how it looks. I just feel like I'm already starting to look pretty greasy on my forehead, and it has definitely oxidized. Here's my chest. I feel like it looks a couple shades dark right now, but looking in the mirror and everything, it just looks really nice and smooth, and it almost looks like just a tinted moisturizer. I do like the coverage. I don't mind the coverage with the concealer on top and the rest of my makeup on. I feel like I'm going to get pretty oily by the end of the night if I'm already this oily, but up close, it's not creasing or anything around my nose or on my upper lip. So I will check back in with you guys at the end of the night. Okay, so it's now 6:17, so the foundation's been on for almost 10 hours. I can't remember if I'm doing the check-in time 8:30 a.m. or 9. I think it was 8:30. So I've been doing taxes for the last 5 hours. Adulting, fun stuff. So let's talk about this foundation. So I feel like it's not even showing up quite as much in the viewfinder at least, but it has majorly oxidized. I kind of, yeah, you can't even tell. My face looks pretty orange right now. Like I definitely look, and you can tell because my concealer is way lighter than normal, but I am oily, very oily. I noticed it at the 5 hour point, like I said, and it kind of just went downhill from there. It does say it's a hydrating, moisturizing foundation, so if you don't have oily skin like I do, if you have more dry skin, you might like this. The good thing is that even though it's super oily, it's not really breaking down anywhere. Like you can't see the separation on my skin. It just looks very oily. Yeah, look at my forehead right now. It is like a freaking grease ball. And even though it's really oily around my nose and on my nose and everywhere pretty much, like I said, it's not caking up anywhere. It's not really creasing. It doesn't look like it's really breaking down. Like I've said in past videos, I'm not someone who blots my face. I don't like to touch up my makeup throughout the day. I just want a foundation that's going to stay on all day. So kind of concluding thoughts, I think if you have dry skin, you might like this because it is very, very moisturizing. Oily skin, probably wouldn't recommend. Keep in mind it does oxidize quite a bit. I would say 2 shades, maybe even 3. So if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up so I know. I cannot wait to wash off my face right now and put on a face mask. You can always let me know down below what foundations you guys want to see for next week's Foundation Friday. I also do polls on Twitter to see which ones you want, and also on Snapchat. So make sure you're following me on all of my social media handles. I will put them right here. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.